150. Tankers are sitting dead in the water, outside the Strait of Hormuz right now. Not damaged, not sunk, just stopped, anchored outside a corridor they cannot enter, carrying oil the world desperately needs, burning fuel they are not getting paid for. The global crude market is bleeding. Shipping insurance on the route has collapsed, and the weapon responsible for all of it is not a missile battery, not a submarine fleet, not an aircraft carrier. It is a steel cylinder that costs $1,500, cheaper than a used motorbike. Iran dropped 5,000 of them into a 39-kilometer strait and froze 20% of the world's oil supply without firing a single additional shot. Now here is the part that stops you cold. The United States Navy can find every single one of those mines from the air using laser systems mounted on helicopters. It has unmanned robots that scan the seafloor with sonar, acoustic decoys that trick mines into destroying themselves against nothing, precision underwater drones that kill whatever survives, detection to destruction, zero sailors in the water. The most advanced mine hunting capability ever fielded by any navy on Earth is sitting on the decks of ships that have not entered that minefield. That is not a failure. That is a decision. And that decision has three specific reasons behind it. Three variables that must converge before the Navy moves. Until all three align, the mines stay exactly where they are. Here is the equation they are solving. To understand why the Navy is waiting, you first need to understand what it is waiting on. Because naval mines are not simply old weapons. They are the perfect weapon. Every other weapon in modern warfare gives itself away. A missile shows a radar return. A drone generates heat. A submarine produces acoustic noise. A mine produces nothing. No signal, no energy, no sound. Invisible to every active sensor a warship carries because there is nothing to detect. It simply waits. And the cost arithmetic is devastating. One contact mine, $1,500. One destroyer, $2 billion. A cost exchange ratio of 1 to 1.3 million. No weapon in the history of warfare has ever offered that asymmetry. A Civil War invention still owns the most lopsided ratio in modern combat. Iran has built its entire Hormuz strategy around this logic. Three mine types, each solving a different tactical problem. The contact mine floats just below the surface, tethered to an anchor. Hull touches it, fuse fires. Unchanged for 40 years because it does not need to change. The influence mine sits on the seafloor and never requires contact. Three sensors working together. A magnetometer reading the magnetic signature of a steel hull. A hydrophone listening for propeller cavitation. A pressure sensor measuring water displacement. Programmable to ignore small craft and wait for the high-value target. Then the EM-52, a rocket-propelled rising mine that fires upward through the water column at 260 feet per second. By the time any sensor detects the launch, the warhead has already reached the keel. You cannot armor against a weapon that attacks from underneath at rocket speed. The geography seals everything. The strait is 39 kilometers wide, but commercial traffic is compressed into two navigable lanes, each only 4 kilometers across. Iran does not need to mine an ocean. It needs to mine a ribbon. One detonation under a supertanker in Lloyd's of London pulls war risk coverage for the entire route. The strait does not close by military force. It closes by market force. One mine, one insurance policy. 20% of the world's oil stops moving. Every major navy on Earth still clears mines the same way navies have cleared them since the Second World War. Divers suit up, enter a live minefield, locate a mine by hand, attach a demolition charge, and detonate one at a time in water they cannot see through, next to a weapon designed to kill whatever approaches it. Japan does it this way. France does it this way. The Royal Navy does it this way. Human beings solving the cheapest weapon in warfare with the most expensive asset any military possesses. The United States Navy made a different decision after 1988. One M08 contact mine detonated beneath the USS Samuel B. Roberts in the Persian Gulf. $1,500. It tore a hole 15 feet wide through the hull, broke the keel, flooded 2 engine rooms, wounded 10 sailors, and burned 4 badly enough to require evacuation to Germany. $89 million and 13 months to rebuild. The Navy looked at that equation and built 4 systems to replace the diver permanently. First, the ALMDS, an airborne laser pod beneath an MH-60S Seahawk helicopter. Laser pulses fired downward through the surface. Reflected photons process into a 3-dimensional map of everything in the near-surface water column. Mines found from the air, nothing enters the water. Second, the common unmanned surface vehicle towing sonar into the minefield alone. No crew inside, controlled remotely from a safe distance. Side-scan sonar paints the entire seafloor. Algorithms separate mines from rocks by shape and acoustic reflectivity. Third, the unmanned influence sweep system. The same unmanned boat tows a magnetic, cable and acoustic generator simulating a 300,000-ton supertanker. The influence mine detects the signal. 3 triggers align. It fires, and there is nothing above it except a cable and a sound generator towed by a robot. The mine destroys itself against a target that does not exist. Fourth, Archerfish, a small expendable drone lowered on a fiber optic cable from the same helicopter. Camera confirms the mine. 1 button. Shape charge. Mine destroyed. For systems. For steps. 0 sailors in the water. No other Navy on Earth operates all 4 integrated into one deployable package. The technology exists. The systems are proven and deployed. So why has the Navy not entered the minefield? Because the Navy does not solve headlines. It solves equations. And this equation has 3 variables that must all converge before the operation begins. Variable 1 is the source. If you sweep mines while the enemy is still manufacturing and laying new ones, you are mopping a floor with the faucet running. Clear 100, they lay 200. The corridor never opens. Operation Epic Fury shut the faucet first. 26 Iranian mine-laying vessels destroyed. 16 intercepted at sea. 10 more destroyed at their berths. Mine storage facilities on Karg Island obliterated. Production facilities inside Iran struck by the bomber force. The mines sitting on the seafloor of the Strait of Hormuz right now are the last mines Iran will ever deploy. Every mine cleared is one that will never be replaced. The faucet is shut. Variable 2 is protection. Mine countermeasure ships are slow, predictable, and carry minimal weapons for self-defense. An LCS focused entirely on sweeping is vulnerable to missile launchers, hidden in mountain tunnels, fast attack craft staged in coastal inlets, and Goddard-class submarines lurking in shallow water where sonar performance degrades. Clearance requires a protective envelope. Fighter aircraft overhead, destroyers screening the flanks, close-in surface defense against fast movers. That envelope is the USS Tripoli carrying up to 20 F-35B stealth fighters and 2,500 Marines of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. Tripoli has departed the Western Pacific and is transiting toward the region at high speed. Mine clearance does not begin until that bubble is in position. Variable 3 is pressure. Iran normally exports 1.4 million barrels per day almost entirely through Hormuz. Since the mines went down, tanker operators have pulled their vessels from the route. The weapon Iran built to strangle everyone else is strangling Iran. Every day those mines sit on the seafloor, Iran loses revenue it will never recover. Clearing 2 early releases that pressure. The Navy waits for the optimal moment, not the fastest one. When the 3 variables converge, and they are converging right now, the Navy enters the strait and clears it. Not because the world demanded it, not because a deadline arrived, because the equation reached its optimum and not one day before. The faucet is shut. The factory that built those mines is ash. The storage depots are rubble. No new mine will ever replace the ones cleared. The roof is arriving. 20 F-35Bs and 2,500 Marines aboard Tripoli will establish the protective envelope that allows the slow, methodical, irreplaceable work of clearance to begin without interruption. And the pressure has been running since the first mine went down. Iran is bleeding 1.4 million barrels a day in frozen exports. A weapon designed to close the world's oil corridor is closing Iran instead. The EM-52 still sits on the floor of the strait right now. Still listens. Still waits. still capable of firing upward at 260 feet per second through whatever passes above. But the factory that built it no longer exists. The ship that would have laid the next one is on the bottom of the Gulf. The depot that stored the reserves is a crater on Karg Island. When the Seahawk flies over with the laser pod, that mine appears as a shape in a three-dimensional map. The unmanned boat confirms it with sonar. The acoustic decoy tries to trigger it, and if it refuses to fire, Archerfish swims down, confirms with camera, and destroys it with a shaped charge. One operator, one button, no diver, no sailor in the water. In 1988, a $1,500 mine broke the keel of a United States warship and wounded 10 sailors. The Navy made a decision that day. It built 4 systems so that equation would never repeat. Those systems are ready. The conditions are aligning. Hormuz will open again, on American terms, at American timing. When the Navy says the equation is solved, subscribe to Naval Power Explained.